Good morning, Lisa. Thank you for joining us in studio.
It's so good to be here. I love visiting you guys in person.
We love having you too, and it's because we feel like we want to bombard you with legal questions, but we always forget. Like we'll have a question, let's say on a Monday, and by I don't know when we normally speak to you, like Wednesday, Thursday, we're like, what did we want to ask her? We can't remember.
Gotta put it in my notes or something on my phone.
Right, right, exactly. So just again, real quick, 800-682-1075 is the number to call in case you have a legal question. We're gonna go directly to the phone because we could hold you up forever and ever.
Keep on.
No,
hold.
that's fine. Yeah.
We do have Jay. Good morning, Jay. What is your question for Lisa Lanier?
Hey, good morning, y'all. Lisa, quick question. Can I sue Jason for stealing my IQ points from listening to his stupid oven theory?
Well, that wasn't very nice. Was it?
Jay, oh man, I love it.
Oh my, Jay, way to kick things off. I appreciate that. All right, we have Zach. Zach, what is your question for our official attorney, Lisa Lanier?
If you're married, can your wife legally hide if she got an abortion from you?
Ooh,
Oh,
my gosh.
wow.
Dang.
That is heavy. Wow.
Yes,
Good morning.
it is.
Are you no? Just a question. Is that happening to you?
Zach, is that
Yes.
It is.
Okay.
Oh, Zach, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's terrible. Yes, she can hide that she's having an abortion from you. That is that's sad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So basically the man has no say whether a woman can have an abortion or not. In
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Lee, you're on the air. What is your question for our official attorney, Lisa Lanier?
Hey, what's going on, heavyweight?
Hey, Lee.
We know Lee.
No,
That's
I like Lee already. Yeah, and he's got that very
Yes,
white voice too. Yeah,
kind of tickles your eardrums a little bit. Go ahead, Lee.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I am calling in reference to my mother, who's of age. She's like 70-something years old. She had taken a fall on a property of a gas station. She wasn't inside the gas station. She came outside and she tripped over the edge of the concrete walking out.
Yeah.
The management never did a report on it. She was transported by ambulance and still has a bad limp today. It happened about maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. And I was trying to see was there any type of legal ramifications of this.
Yeah, so Lee, there are definitely potential legal ramifications. So North Carolina premises law, it's pretty tough, but you could potentially have a case on her behalf. The reason it's tough is North Carolina is a contributory negligence state, and so you have this huge duty to avoid dangers if you see them. And there was a terrible case that came down in North Carolina where a pallbearer in a church, he lifted a casket into the church successfully. The funeral happened, and then on his way back out, the same steps carrying the casket down, he fell and he was hurt terribly. The North Carolina Supreme Court said he had no case because he had gone up the steps, so he had a duty to know that they were dangerous and not go back down them. What a horrible result,
That's
right?
terrible.
And so
Yeah.
it created some terrible case law.
Yeah, that
for
is horrible
precedent.
because he might have got lucky on the way up and stepped
Right.
the right way
Right.
and still didn't notice the potential hazard or danger, correct?
Right, and he's toting a loved one.
Right, he's busy, a little
he's-
preoccupied.
Yeah, at a funeral. That's anyway. So the idea is that if she went into the gas station and successfully was able to go across the curb, that might be a big issue as to why she didn't see it on her way out. But
and
you
did they
could
have
try
to walk the exact same path too? Because what if
right,
the
if
path?
they walk the exact same path. Exactly. If you
Mm-hmm.
show she walked a different path. The other thing is they probably have video. So you should try to see if they have video and make sure they preserve it.
It's great. All right. Well, thank you, Lee. 800-682-1075 is the number to call. We have our official attorney, Lisa Lanier, in studio. Now is the time, if you have a legal question, to have Lisa Lanier answer it for free. We have Danny. Danny's talking a criminal record. Good morning, Danny.
You're on
Danny?
Erica. You're on Erica.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay. Well, Erica, go ahead. What's your question?
Hey, Erica.
Hi. My question is, so a couple of years ago, I had my daughter. She's 2 years now. So let's say it's maybe like around 3 years. Whenever I went to the hospital, I signed paperwork and stuff like that to get the epidural. I noticed that a lot of things weren't right because I felt the whole labor. Half of my waist was paralyzed. The rest, I can feel everything. So after that, I told the doctors, you know what, it's hurting a lot. I've already delivered. It's been over 2 weeks, and I'm still having that pain. They're like, no, time will heal and stuff like that. So I let time heal, supposedly. It's been almost, I want to say almost 2.5 years, and my back is still killing me. I've gone to chiropractors. I've taken X-rays. Of course, it's a nerve.
Mm-hmm.
They won't do anything about it. But is there anything I can do about it?
And you were
because
saying
of that, I haven't been able to work.
Yeah, so
Okay.
so they gave you the epidural? They did give you the epidural?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a terrible result that we see sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
a complication of an epidural. If the needle hits the wrong space, it can actually cause damage to your disc or the nerves in that area. And I've heard people have lifelong back problems following epidurals. And I've heard some doctors say that it's an accepted risk of the procedure.
Mm-hmm.
So you could run into that. The other thing, you've got a big obstacle in terms of the time. North Carolina has a 3-year statute of limitations. So if this happened more than 3 years ago, you're time barred. You're out. Unfortunately, you're out of the claim.
How is that? I know I get this statute of limitations, but at the same time, when the doctor is telling you to wait, time will heal, right? And let's say all of a sudden the pain from this gets progressively worse. How is that not a restart of those statute of limitations? Because the pain is worse, and you were told me to wait.
Well, North Carolina recognizes a continuing course of treatment doctrine, but that only applies to the doctor who was at fault, who was negligent. And in this, that's probably not who she followed up with. So, she the epidural would have been given by an anesthesiologist who saw her one and done. And so there's no ability to continue the statute of limitations for that person.
Is that still considered negligent if you know that is a risk?
It's not.
It
If
wouldn't
it's an
be
accepted risk, then it's
Yeah.
then it's
So is that what you're signing papers for? You're signing papers acknowledging that this is a risk?
usually the consent form will list all the accepted risks.
Which, by the way, I will just say, when I was in labor, I was just like, I'll sign whatever.
Right.
It's fine. Sure.
Right.
After the baby, before the
Right.
baby, I'll just sign.
But let me ask you one more thing about that. So you're signing away the accepted risk because when you go into the doctors, a lot of time you're signing away accepted risk. But is it still, if we can prove that the doctor did something out of character or negligent, that's not typical, that can cause it, then is there a case?
Right. That's exactly. So medical malpractice is all about when the doctor does something that is outside of the standard of care that's negligent. But there are lots of bad outcomes, unfortunately, that happen in medicine where the doctor did everything right.
Right.
But it's either it's a laparoscopic procedure and they couldn't see certain parts of the anatomy, or it's like this, they can't see exactly where the needle is going, that sort of thing. So there are lots of risks like that, unfortunately.
All right. We have Laura, a question about a pool for Lisa Lanier, our official attorney. Go ahead, Laura.
Hey, so I have a pool, and I'm curious as to if someone comes into our pool, whether we invite them, and they get hurt or they drown or something like that, what am I liable for? Can they sue me? And if we say, we're going to be out of town, you're welcome to use our pool, is that another issue, or should we not do that?
Well, so the situations where you could be liable is if if there's some sort of a dangerous condition surrounding your pool. Hopefully you have a fence. Hopefully you have, if someone is using the pool with your permission and you don't do anything that is negligent, then you should be okay. But I mean, I would say that it is likely that if someone died in your pool, they would try to sue you. I mean, it would. There's a pretty high risk for that. But hopefully, if you have trustworthy people that you're inviting over, it really just depends. I would have a close circle of people that I would.
So would you
that.
say that if she had the proper fence and did all the proper things, and somebody came into her pool and drowned, they may sue, but they might not win?
Exactly. There's lots of people that'll sue whether they can win or not.
Okay. So, but if, let's say, she didn't have the proper fence,
That could be
then there's a problem.
Yeah, that could be a problem because, if somebody, if a little kid wanders onto your property and you don't have it fenced properly, that could be an issue.
Joining us in studio, our official attorney, Lisa Lanier, on the phone with us. We have Matt. Matt says he was granted restitution, wants to know how to get it, Lisa. Go ahead, Matt.
What is restitution exactly?
Hey, yeah, I had a case where I was granted restitution, but didn't know how to go about getting it because this has been close to 6 months.
First of all, we're going to need you to define restitution, please. Thank you.
So restitution is where, someone has committed a criminal wrong and in so doing caused some kind of compensable damage, some kind of either like damage to property or to the person. And as a part of the criminal deal, the victim is awarded restitution. What happened that you were awarded restitution? I'm just curious, Matt.
I was in a car accident. The person that hit me was I'm trying to say this the correct way. She had lots of drugs in the car. It was under something. So, she hit me and then pushed me into a tractor trailer. Everybody was okay, but I was granted restitution.
And the restitution was part of her criminal deal?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. So
and I know the judge said that she was supposed to pay it before she paid any court cost.
Right. So typically, just so that you probably have actually a much better recourse to go after her civilly against her insurance, especially if she was intoxicated on drugs or alcohol. Then her insurance company would be potentially liable to you for punitive damages. So that's much better than restitution and easier to collect because, the problem is, go ahead.
I'm sorry, the insurance did pay for damages on car, damages on doctor bills and stuff like that. So their insurance did pay all that.
Okay. I hope they paid you a big bunch of punitive damages too. They should have. If you dealt with it yourself and you didn't know to ask for that, they probably didn't, because they're not obligated to tell you all of the extra things you're entitled to. But as far as the restitution goes, typically that would be handled by the DA. And like you said, when they were levying the court costs and everything, the restitution, you should call whoever the ADA was that handled your case and find out what happened with that. It is often hard to collect that kind of thing sometimes from the perpetrator because they go to jail, they don't have any money. That's why I'm glad you pursued the civil against the insurance.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Okay. Alexis is going through something I'm sure we all love to do, talking family and money. Alexis, what's your question for our official attorney, Lisa Lanier?
Hi. So I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me.
We can hear you.
We got you.
My aunt, my papa passed away when I was 14, and he left 4 of his grandkids money. And, well, for us to get the money, it was to graduate high school and to be 21.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't graduated, but I'm 23 now. And my aunt is claiming that it's her money, that I have no right over it. But my mom and my papa's wife both say, because my mom made her the person who holds the money. I forgot what it's called.
So he put it in a trust? Did he put it in a trust for you?
It was in a trust. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So if you've met the conditions, you absolutely qualify to get the money, but you may have to take legal action against your aunt.
That's what I was.
She said she has to graduate high school
or be 21.
Or be 21. Okay, so she's reached
clear,
the 21.
If the instrument that created the trust is clear on that, and if it was absolutely that either or 21 or high school graduate, then you're entitled to it, and you should go and enforce that instrument.
Then
you'll
what
probably
would
need
be the best lawyer for that?
Well, so it's a probate matter, and so you would want to you could Google you could Google sort of, and if you want to call my office later, I'll give you the names of some probate lawyers near you who are good.
All right.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. How much money are we talking about, if you don't mind me saying?
I've been told different things. She told me that she wouldn't even give me 5,000 of it. And she's put it in, where it grows.
Mutual fund?
Yeah, it's been invested, so it's grown. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's invested it.
So it should be worth a fair amount, because if he died when you were 14 and you're now 23.
Yeah.
Will the
Yeah,
trust say exactly
she
how
just-
much the original amount was?
Yeah, so it usually the trust will specify, a share, and like if it's grown, then her share should increase.
Okay.
Jasmine, you have a question about the HOA for Lisa Lanier.
Yes. Hi. I have a condo, and I have a bottom floor unit, and I've had over the last 3 years repeated sewage invasions,
Oh.
and the HOA president is kind of putting the blame on me, but it's a shared line, and the unit hasn't been habitated after a massive flood that was in the unit, and I'm still having sewage come up through the sink.
Gosh.
And I had to file a claim, and because of the amount and the bylaw stated that the claim had to be filed through the HOA insurance. And so the HOA insurance, they only paid a part of what the estimate was to fix the damages. And the HOA stated that they would not release those funds until I signed the document stating that that I would accept that as final payment. And I couldn't. And then the insurance company would not allow me, because I'm not named specifically on the HOA policy. They won't allow me to basically request any more funds or do anything.
Okay.
And so I have to go through the HOA for all of that, which they're kind of refusing, they're basically saying they're not even responsible.
All right. So what does Lisa
Wow.
think?
Yeah.
That's terrible. So what? How much is the damage? What's the cost of all that?
The damage was estimated, I believe, at $36,000, and they paid around $22,000. They estimated $22,000. They brought a private appraiser or something to come out and look at the damage, and they stated that that's how much that they would pay. And then my personal insurance paid for any of the upgrades that I had, because they would only fix what it was when it was originally built, like the carpeted floors and.
Okay.
So you probably had replacement cost on your insurance, and so they've kicked in some additional money.
Yeah, they came in with an additional for upgrades. My insurance paid that, but I haven't gotten any money from the HOA's insurance that was supposed to pay the bulk of the claim.
Right.
Because I didn't know if I should sign the document stating that I will accept that as final payment, and then be stuck with the rest of the cost.
Is this why y'all hate HOAs?
I hate HOAs.
I don't mind
they're
an
the devil.
HOA.
I hate them.
I'm beginning to see why.
I don't mind
yeah.
an HOA.
Okay. Oh, right.
I don't.
Okay. Till they're not on your side. Anyway,
Right.
Lisa, sorry. Go ahead.
No. So between what your insurance company paid and the $22,000 that the HOA is offering, does that make you whole? Does that come up to the $36,000 in damages?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. So, your recourse is, so don't sign that release, because certainly the release will terminate any rights that you have for, to take further action against the HOA. But between your insurance company and what they're paying, if you're getting close to the full value of the 36, unfortunately, even though you are legally entitled to the full damage, it's going to be expensive to try to litigate it. So the cost benefit analysis, of whether it's worth it to hire a lawyer, you're probably looking at a situation where, it's going to cost you more in legal fees than you could recover.
Right.
So that's the sad reality of these kind of cases, because you have to pay a lawyer hourly for that kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Gina, you are dealing with an issue of selling a house. Go ahead.
All right, so it's my fiance's house. His parents died and left it to him and 3 siblings. Well, he doesn't want to sell, and we're basically wondering if they would be able to sell it out from under him.
Yeah, unfortunately, where this happens all the time, there's been actually some talk about Lisa Marie Presley's estate, because that estate went to, and Graceland went to her 3 children. And what happens in many cases is where a single owner passes a single asset to 2 or 3 kids, then those kids don't all have the same goals, exactly like what you're talking about here. And so the estate ends up getting split up. And so that's what's going to end up happening probably.
Can she offer to buy them?
Yeah, but you have the right to buy it if you, I mean, not an exclusive right, but you are just as entitled as any other buyer. And so what I would try to work out in that situation is if two of them want to sell, get them to sell to your fiance.
Okay. That's a good idea.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
All
Yeah,
right.
you're welcome.
Thank you. And finally, we have Eddie on the phone as our last call with our official attorney, Lisa Lanier. Eddie is talking about being a mechanic. Go ahead, Eddie.
So I had my son's car worked on, and they did $4,500 worth of work on it. The next day, less than 24 hours, my son was going to Cary, North Carolina, and it blew up and caught on fire.
Oh.
Is there anything I could do towards the shop to get reimbursed some of that money? Insurance covered everything. I mean, I had full coverage, but $4,500 less than 24 hours later, my son's car was on fire and we lost the car.
Oh, man. So if your insurance has taken care of the damage to the car, the only remaining damage you have is the fact that you paid $4,500 for nothing. So that's what you'd be going after. You know, you wouldn't be able to get sort of a double dip on the value of the car. But yeah, I would let them know, look, you know, if you can show that the reason it blew up was something related to the work they did. And that may be the hard part. I don't know if you know.
The investigator said it was oil residual, you know, what caused it to catch on fire.
Was some oil that they left behind.
That's what I was seeing.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds bad. So, you know, I would take that information to them and let them know they probably have what's called a general commercial liability, a GCL policy. I would ask them to put you in touch with their GCL carrier, their insurance carrier, because you want to make a claim. And hopefully they'll do that. If not, you could take them to small claims court.
And he's got this some evidence because he has the witness that investigated, correct? So that's a big help.
Right.
Yeah.
So what you're seeking is a refund. And so I would, you know, that amount is going to fall under the small claims court amount too. So you could take them to small claims court if they won't put you in touch with their insurance company.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Thank you, Eddie. And thank you, Lisa Lanier, for joining us in studio.
It's my pleasure.
Always so happy to see you and have you answer legal questions. Hopefully we can do it again very soon.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Seems like everybody's got some sort of something
Yes.
going on, you know? Well, if you are ever injured, Lisa Lanier is who you call. HireAHeavyweight.com. Thank you, Lisa, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.